heights of Romagna, the heart of the German defensive positions, known in the U.S. as the Hindenburg Line, to others, to Germans, it is the Kriemhildstellung, the heart of the lion, the fortress of defensive networks protecting the German supply line at the great city of Sedan, just over these hills. To capture this, which had been a goal throughout years of warfare, once the supply line is broken, the German army is done. So this is the U.S. doughboy's perspective. His battle was one of thick, dense forest, riddled with machine gun nests, command bunkers, and German trenches. This was his no man's land, an ugly, nasty, bitter battle fought in amongst this thick forest. It also was across 400 and 500 yard fields, pockmarked with shell craters. It was not the static trench warfare that you would have seen between the Germans, the British, and the French from 1914 to 1917. It's not trenches, it's foxholes such as this one. Whereas the doughboy, following General Pershing's orders, does not dig trenches. He was supposed to be constantly moving forward. Throughout much of the 47-day Meuse-Argonne campaign, the doughboy kept moving. Didn't stay where he was for very long. What you can walk across in 2 days took the GIs, or doughboys, almost 7 weeks. So as you fight through the forest and you get told to hold your position, we didn't dig trenches. Here you have a medieval land barrier, a shallow ditch, if you will. We didn't have time to dig trenches, nor did we want to. That was bad in the eyes of General Pershing. So what the American soldier would be forced to do was dig a shallow depression, such as this one right here. Here he would lay down for the night, or if he came across Germans, such as in a defensive position right there, and you can see in front of me, or across the street, he would lay down. Dig out this pit as fast as he could, putting some leaves in the bottom for some insulation and quiet, because it would be raining, it would be muddy, it would be filled with water. Anything he could do to help keep himself off the ground and dry, and yet below ground to give him protection. The doughboy did not understand the overall objective. He's got a few friends right there and a few friends right there. The camaraderie that exists in all militaries was great. But I only knew what was right in front of me, and here it is. They were called cutlets for the soldiers to lay down, and this is what they saw. This is what separates the American soldier from that of his British and French allies and that of a German. The assumption is it was all static warfare. It was not. This is what the doughboy would see. This was his protection. You're exposed, you're out in the open, you are by yourself with friends, close by, but it was not living deep in the tunnels and in the trenches that the Germans and the French and the British experienced. There was no feeling of safety. You were wet, you were cold, you were miserable. By this point, the doughboy would not have eaten in 4 to 5 days because it was too hard to get food forward. The water they filled from rain, from puddles as it was constantly raining. So this will epitomize the doughboy's experience. Exposed, out in front, never stopping, always grinding on and on. Here we are in another doughboy's no man's land. General John Pershing gives the order. We're not taking trenches, we're moving forward. We will take out the Hindenburg Line and we will destroy the German supply network. The orders are given, the doughboy advances. Plans are great in theory. However, one of the things not taken into account was terrain like this. I'm standing right now in what was a direct line of assault by the American doughboy here in the heights of Romagna, a town which now houses the United States American Cemetery. Up above is the Hindenburg Line. These are German fixed trenches, the stereotypical trench that you think of, that did exist. The doughboy, however, was not in them. There is a small foxhole right here that I can crawl into. There's another one right up here between these trees. However, our objectives were supposed to be quick, lightning rapid blows. But no one ever thought, how's the GI, the doughboy rather, going to get up there occupied by the Germans? As you can see, there's really no flat area. There's no shallow point. Some are steeper than the others, but this is no man's land for the doughboy. Not a trench, not a 50-yard wide no man's land, but something like this. I'm taking this line to get up this hill, but there's nobody shooting at me. Nobody's throwing hand grenades at me. I can take my time. I can catch my breath. The doughboy, he could not. An offensive and attack all along this line, straight forward, not pausing to stop, because if you stopped, you're never going to get started again. You were also told to move forward no matter what. Your buddy gets hit, your buddy gets shot, nothing you can do for him. You can't slow down, you cannot stop. The objective must be taken. Hindenburg line, dead ahead. This is the doughboy's no man's land. My rifle, my bayonet, and me. You get to the top, you've made it, you haven't been killed, you run right smack dab into German trenches. Only fitting I'm out of breath. You are looking at a north to south view. The horizon is where we started from some 6 weeks ago, fighting across forest and field that you can see out there in the distance. We're standing atop the hill where the Germans are dug in. It'll take 6 days and 6,000 casualties just to capture the spot in which I am now standing, all done by the weary, the tired, but ever moving forward, grinding on American soldier, the doughboy of World War I. Here we are descending into German trench. We are just at the rim of the hill that we just recently climbed. Doughboy's got to come up over the hill right there. There's a first line of defense up there, and here is secondary. And Thomas Shin and several others will remark at how well made and how perfect the German trenches were as it comes to fixed defensive positions. Here we are with 100 years of erosion, and I still cannot see to the top of the trench. Every now and then there is a break, and these trenches were curved as they are, as you can see them. So if a grenade or an artillery shell landed within them, they would only take out a section, not the whole thing. So I'm a German soldier, I'm standing, my rifle, I'm waiting for the doughboys to come up over the rise if they crest the hill, and they run right smack dab into me. So once again, what is laying in front of me that you can see, that is the doughboys' no man's land. Not a small strip of land, but this hill, this wooded terrain, rung with barbed wire strung everywhere, or a wide open flat field which we will see in a short time. This is the doughboy's experience. Once again, never stopping, never waiting, not digging trenches, capturing them, using them if you had to. But as Thomas says, the Germans were here to stay. They were not going anywhere. And since just behind them was their supply network, everything that they needed for supply, they were going to fight doubly hard right here in the heart of the cream-held Stellung, what we call the Hindenburg Line. Now that I'm in them, you got to fight your way through them, eliminating all the Germans who know that if they leave the war they've been fighting 4 years for is lost. It is the doughboys' advance that makes victory and the ending of the war possible. I'm resting in an American soldier's, a doughboy's forward position. And I came out here to study World War I to redirect some of the assumptions that people have about World War I. We all think it was all quiet on the Western Front with static trenches and a no man's land. But where I'm laying epitomizes the United States doughboy. I am in the heights of Romagna, a densely thick forest packed with German trenches and machine gun nests and snipers. This was the heart of what they call the Hindenburg Line, their defensive network protecting their supplies just over my shoulder. And the American doughboy was supposed to be constantly moving forward, no time to rest, so I'm in a medieval landmarker. And for the night, the American GI would dig out the shallow depression that you can see me sitting in. Just over my shoulder, right over here, are German and Austrian command bunkers and soldiers just a few feet away. So the American doughboy did not fight this static warfare. He was out front. He was exposed. This 47-day campaign was to have him moving constantly forward. It'll take him 7 weeks to go barely 20 miles, fighting every foot of the way. And I'm out here to redirect those assumptions, to show what the doughboy's experience was like. I have a few friends to my left and to my right, but this is it. Here I am in the thickly dense heights of Romagna and the Meuse Argonne, pushing forward against an enemy desperately trying to stop me. I'm open. I am exposed. I'm not living in a trench. I don't have that safety. That is, I haven't shaved. I haven't eaten. It's been 47 days since I could change my clothes. Haven't eaten in 4 or 5 days. I've been drinking rainwater. And this is what the U.S. doughboy went through, played a significant role here in World War I, something that many people don't even know, even educated people don't realize the goal and the mission and what the American soldier went through.